sequestered safe space in Florida, where houses are surrounded entirely by water bodies that are stagnant and do not drain, we find a Google pin. There's a mystery associated with this, not really a mystery, just a lost persons case. And in here we see hedgerows and roads and curvy things. Land development in the United States is often done for hypothetical aesthetics rather than anything I would call real-world pleasantries. And you may have noticed that the main entryway to this spiderling crack pipe-induced roadway system has a stop point for any Google Street Views, because privacy is more important than productivity and functionality in America. Yes, at my door or at my property line, if I have one, I can say no to a little car coming through taking photos. And no, this isn't a satellite view, even though that's what it's called. This is an aerial view. And if we zoom in, we can see something just slightly unusual under the water. Notice how much of the continuously non-vegetable filled, see how much of the little beach here or water's edge has receded and not receded. And we see something under here. And the time and date stamp for this is, it says 2022, but the image is actually from a different year, most likely. So here we are in Google Earth. This is Google Earth Portable number 7. We're looking at the same location, and I've hit the timer thing so it can go forward and back through time. So let's go back a couple of notches. Now you notice the water line is right up near that. It's deeper here, so we have murky water. We go back a notch, it lowers a little. Another notch, it lowers a lot more. And let's enhance, or zoom in as it's normal, people call it. You can almost see an outline there, but not quite. Let's zoom out, or more accurately, zoom back in time. The water's full, and we have a blurry image. This is a high-altitude image taken from a plane, not a satellite, and this one is a lower altitude. Many properties will require that if you take a photo, Barbra Streisand effect, I'm sorry, that you get permission from them to use it. They don't want the property values dropped because you see an old dead car in the backyard or a septic tank being put in. Not kidding. So let's go back in time a little further, a lot further. Now we see it low water table level during 2009, and we don't see anything under the water there. Let's go back a little further. Now we get a blurry image, high altitude, somebody objected or something. 2007, it's entirely useless. 2006, for crying out loud, what is that? When we go back further, now we get higher water levels. You can see the water levels, or you can't see anything. That's a good crisp image. That's from 2005. That's good. We can just keep doing this. Let's skip to the money shot. Let's go forward in time from 2014. 2016, we have high water. 2017, now we can see in here, if we get rid of our Google pin in a minute, I'm going to do that, we'll see something under the water. And what we see is a car that fell into the water. 2017, okay, we go forward, forward. You may have noticed the imagery gets increasingly screwed. Now we have high water again, low water. It's still there in 2018. 2019 still there. 2021, blurry as hell. 2021 again. And we do not have a recent aerial image. But that car that was only visible at low water levels during a time of year when there wasn't a lot of rain in someone's backyard in an area where you're not even allowed to have a street view was a car. What happened is, if you can't figure it out, someone drove up through here, probably curved this way, went between the trees, and ended up driving into the lake here, or pond, and that's where they found him. Now, please remember, this isn't about a mystery being solved by this. This was on everybody's newscast for a while. I'll point to a YouTube video pointing it out. But a Google Maps view of this exclusive hoity-toity area, which really is just packing people in like sardines like everybody else, but charging them extra. with all the safety and security you need to keep people from Google Street View appraising your area. Someone died because they drove probably on this road right here, probably in a curve like this, and then overcompensated and went through into the river, into this little stagnant water. All that water out there is stagnant. I'm pretty sure we can see some things at the bottom of it. That looks like an upturned tree. But I doubt that it's very good quality water. Someone asked in the comment section about this mystery being solved. Why didn't somebody go out there, in a boat or something? They're probably legally forbidden from doing it. This is probably a homeowners association that tells people they're not even allowed to mow their lawn unless it's on a certain day. They're not allowed to landscape. They own these pieces of property, but they have less freedom than the homeless guy who's living right here in a tent. He can plant marijuana. That was actually another story about the same area. This is all swampland that's been converted into high-end property for people to live on. And this was solved by someone noticing that one picture there showing distinctly something that looked like a car in there. He probably had to get permission to drive into there. It's probably a gated community, I don't know. Just pointing that out. I also want to point out that even though I've activated Google image search, look for pictures taken at ground level in Google spheres, the substitute for Google Street View, they're missing. Because Google is regularly told by anybody with a lot of money that has the ability to get away with having something erased, erase it, burn that book. The images are still stored somewhere on Google user accounts, and they still have the GPS data, and they could be reconstructed so we could have these things populated. So somebody who was proud to take a photo of his backyard at his new pool could be found. Over here we get one image here. Let's look at it. Let's see if it comes up clean. That's it. On the Monon High Bridge, if you go northwest of it, you'll find a designation for a photo like that. You'll also find, next to it, a declaration of some park, and then when you click it, it's an actual picture of the bridge itself. Just relocated 1,000 feet over. I call it Chinese windage, because the Chinese government moves everything off of where it really is, thinking that's going to affect some sort of security issue. So yeah, this little spot out in the middle of would have been nowhere at one time was a place where someone died in an exclusive community and was never found again. And I suspect because of the rules and regulations and unnecessary nanny stating that the local real estate developers applied to it, that's the reason that body and that car was never found. People probably were given a $10,000 fine if they even touched the water out here. You notice, if you're not aware of it, there are literally no boats, nobody out fishing, nobody caught fishing, nobody even playing around out here. It's a conspicuous attractor, the kind of thing you get a liability insurance against, because it would attract people who would eventually drown, or whatever. This little pond or lake, whatever you want to call it, and nobody's out here enjoying it? Oh, this is a feature of the property on your cookie-cutter, itty-bitty house that's a pseudo-exclusive area where you get to have a pool right next to a body of water that you could all share and have fun in if it wasn't literally just a sewage pit. So yeah, that's what I think of this kind of stuff. I'm kind of angsty right now. I'm really angsty about the fact that this thing probably was populated with hundreds of photos. I saw a screenshot of someone looking at this with Google Earth before. It had hundreds of pictures over it. And then the persons who really own all of this dirt, who determine what these landowners are allowed to do on their own property, made sure that all the photos were redacted. This is what makes it hard for anybody to research something. Not that they're having trouble researching it. You can't really do any research this way. Although a street view here would give me a really good idea of what really happened that day to that poor guy who ended up in the drink. Now, what bothers me is the fact that it's reduced, redacted, and destroyed in favor of a cookie-cutter reality for people to have where you can't look up any of the details. Keep it vague, keep it corporate-friendly. Now, seriously, this is literally nothing but a flood zone you have property on. And yet, over here, there's some guy in a tent. I'm not pointing the exact location. It's actually not here. It's in this area. I'm just using that as an example, where he's living there for free in a hoity-toity hunk of dirt with the highest security and safety possible. Hell, maybe he's one of their security people. Anyway, just thought I'd point that out. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. And yeah, some missing persons case was solved, but I'm pretty sure the local homeowners association really didn't like it. Bye.